What's up, guys? It's your boy Kevin, Midnight Garage. I know it's been a while since I've done a video. Got a lot going on in the day-to-day life, but I'm back. And today we are starting a project on this 2004 Mustang GT 4.6 liter V8. It's got a pretty nasty rod knock, so I have a new donor motor that's gonna go into it, and hopefully we'll get it back on the road and driving like it used to. So I'm gonna bring you along on the process. I'm gonna try and do kind of like a step-by-step, but you know, I may miss a thing here and there. Obviously I'm doing it on a lift, but I've done this job plenty of times on the ground. It's doable as long as you have an engine crane. And yeah, I'll try and make a couple of notes as far as what is going to be different if you're doing it on the ground versus if you're on a lift. But other than that, I'm going to take you through the process and we'll get this done. So stay tuned, and this will probably be broken down over maybe 2 videos. But that will come with the magic of editing. So hope you guys are ready. And for those of you who are trying to do the same job, I hope you guys can get it done just as successfully as I will. I want to show you something real quick. So I bought this house a while ago, and ever since I've owned this house, it's leaked. Like the roof has leaked right here in this corner right here. I had somebody come and attempt to fix it. Still not fixed, obviously. So my shop floods when it rains, just primarily from that area, and then it trickles down over there. My backyard though turns into like a muddy mess. Like the ground is so freaking soft, it's insane. So I have to literally put my truck in like 4 low to get into my backyard, and then that happens. It's so annoying, just insanely annoying. But I got to get the motor out of the back of the truck, so I'm like in the process of cleaning up and then getting set up so that I can start this. Just thought I might show you guys. This is what I'm dealing with in order to get started. So I am trying to get this thing out of the truck. Obviously I don't have a forklift, so I'm coming up with my solution of trying to get this out. So I got my cherry picker, got a strap around that, which goes up on that corner and this corner, and then I have a ratchet strap on this corner going up to the chain, just like that. Got like barely any clearance. But I'm gonna move the truck forward and see if this turns into a catastrophe. Hopefully it doesn't. Well, at this moment, it looks like it worked. We'll see what happens when I start going down, though. Success. A little sketchy, definitely sketchy, but a success nonetheless. One more thing real quick is I want to give you an audio clip of what the engine sounds like before and after. So I have the jump box on there right now. We're gonna fire it up and hear what it sounds like. So I'm changing out the battery just because this one is like extra dead. And I'm gonna show you. This is why battery terminal maintenance is important, because that is completely corroded and destroyed. So we'll see if I can still get an audio clip out of it. I might just move on, but I don't know. We'll see. All right, well, we're not going to do an audio clip on it. Battery and connection problems are just too much. I'm not worried about it. All right, like I said, we're gonna go inside, and first thing is you're gonna want to remove this so you can get the shifter knob off. Just unscrew it like a top.
Unplug your cigarette lighter, or your PowerPoint, whatever you want to call it nowadays, if you're old enough to remember cigarette lighters. Okay, so now we're down here where the shifter is. We're gonna take off these bolts. There are 4 bolts, 1, 2, 3, 4 to get this cover off, and then there are 4 bolts for the actual shifter assembly. So let's get those off. There we go. All right. So now we have 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then this will be out of the way. We gotta take the drive shaft off. So I'm gonna leave it in neutral. Hopefully I can get everything off while it's in neutral. I don't have to hold anything. But if not, we can manually put it into gear so the drive shaft doesn't move. So let me get this off. Those are 13s, I believe. Let me see. Yep. All right, so now that this is off, you can wiggle this back and forth. Sometimes there's some gasket maker in there that'll want to seal it down, which I'm going to pry it up here and get this out. Another fun fact, you can actually fill the gearbox from here, so you don't have to do the fill port on the side. But I'm going to pry this off, get this out, and then we're going to move to underneath the vehicle. So like I said, you just take this off. There it is right there on the ground. A little bit of sealant to keep the fluid from splashing out, but it really doesn't take that much effort. And like I said, you can fill the gearbox from here. Just pour it down onto the side. Like there's some pulled up in the little shift recess, but you can just pour it off to the side and fill your gearbox from here. So as far as I remember, this is the last thing we're gonna do on the inside. So now we're gonna transition to I'm gonna go underneath and go that route. I take the exhaust off, drive shaft off, and I think that'll be it for the moment. I mean, of course there's gonna be more stuff, but I will comment on that when I get to it. So this is the first time I'm using my GoPro to film my videos. So hopefully everything looks good and everything is within the shot. Bear with me. If you can't hear me, I'm gonna test it out once this battery dies, because this battery is terrible. and listen to the audio to see if you can hear me as I'm moving around. And if it doesn't work, then I have a little microphone that I'm going to use for audio. Alright, it's my little soft shackle from when I towed it up onto my trailer. Completely forgot it was under there. Alright, so let's bring y'all with me. Let's inspect underneath here. A little bit of fluid leaks. Oof. AC leak. That green dye is very prominent. Some oil pan leaks. Nothing too crazy. H pipe to the cats. Oxygen sensors. All right. So one thing that is different on the convertible model versus the hardtop is the extra bracing. So that is going to have to come off, which means I'm gonna have to redo my lift mounting point slightly back a bit. Well, that's inconvenient. Well, I'm not gonna make you guys look through all that. I am probably just gonna take this gearbox out and just have it aside, put the engine in, and then put the gearbox back. I think that's just gonna make life easier. My Mustang out there, the green one, has a tubular K member and it's a hardtop. There's just a lot, just other things that are not in the way. Just makes it way easier. So right now I'm going to reposition the vehicle on the lift so that I can get that bracing and stuff off. And then I will bring you guys back after. All right, so audio sounds good. Battery is gonna die though. I'm gonna work on getting the wheels off, and then I'm going to take the bracing off underneath the vehicle. All right, got that out of the way. Now let's focus on connectors. So every single connector has to come off. Air conditioning compressor, this, let me bring you guys over here. So all connectors need to come off. Air conditioning compressor, this bolt that runs this harness here needs to be undone from the engine. Oil pressure sensor connector, cam position sensors, all the radio interference connectors up top, but we're working just down here on the bottom at the moment. Oxygen sensor connectors, upstream and downstream, both sides. the harness for the transmission, output shaft speed sensor, all the starter, all of these need to be undone. So I will do that and then get back to you guys. All right, so I got connectors off on the front side of the engine bay. Just want to show you all what that looks like. So here's the harness, that bracket and that bracket and this bracket go right there and right there. Then the harness runs along the side to that bolt right there on the motor mount and then attaches to the starter. Okay, got those off, pulled it through. And then you have the clips for the oil pressure sensor, and there's a ground on the other engine mount right there. So this harness frees up and is out of the way. Both connectors at the compressor, the one for the compressor, which has a zip tie on it to hold it in place. It doesn't really make sense, but and then this is for the crankshaft position sensor. So those are out of the way. This harness I should be able to pull up top and then start disconnecting those. This one runs to like the battery junction box area. I got all the oxygen sensor connectors off. Those front ones are going to be a little bit tough, but if you have like a long handled panel popper, you can get up in there to get the tab pressed down and then pull it backwards. I got the manifold bolts sprayed down and lubricated because these rear ones is rusted, boy. So I'm gonna try and take this off next. Hopefully the camera doesn't die before I get it out. This lower passenger side one is always a pain in the butt to get to. The frame is kind of in the way. All right, guys, I got the exhaust out. The camera did die. It's right there. I also got the harness undone from the transmission. So connector right here, and then pulled the oxygen sensor connector from the opposite side. So it's right here. Next, we're gonna take off this cover for the clutch cable and get the clutch cable disconnected. And then I'm gonna work on getting the drive shaft. All right, so I'm working on getting the drive shaft off. See if we can get this while it's in neutral. Take some of this off. Oof. Not gonna want to fudge, huh? Before it comes off. Let's mark it just so we know exactly which way it was clocked. Okay. If you can't tell already, I like lime green, obviously. Okay. So the drive shaft is out. Now, so the clutch cable sits in this little indent right here. There's a retaining clip right here. Once we pull that out, we have to apply pressure so that this can go through the bigger end, and then it slides out. So let's see if I will be able to get this out relatively smooth. So there you go. Now as far as this part goes, this is always a challenge. Okay. So you there. And I have like a big C-clip or a C-clamp that I like to use for this. Actually, I have some giant pliers that I use, but I do not have those available right at the moment. What's going to be the best place to do this? Now, most of the time, these things have like a little flat spot. Oh, you can't see crap. I'm sorry, y'all. Let's move this. All right. So most of the time, these have like a flat spot on the end of them, so that it doesn't slide out on you. But of course, I think I found these somewhere a while ago. I've just never actually gotten like a brand new fucking set of these. And I'm probably not going to anytime soon. So, I'm just working with what I got here. Especially at home, instead of like at the shop. This is my shop. Okay, you see? It just slides out of that bigger section there. And then this whole thing slides through this hole. Bada bing, bada boom, done. Loosen it up. All right. So now that's out of there. Okay, so we can go up top and start pulling harness out of the way. Let me see what else that I want to focus on the bottom. I mean, I am going to take the gearbox out separately. Got the motor mounts. That's all good. That's all good. Okay. So yeah, we can go up top and start moving the harness out of the way. So one thing that I didn't show, but is definitely part of this process, is draining the fluids. Start by draining your engine oil, okay? If you're going to, well, it doesn't matter. You need to drain the gearbox. All the transmission fluid out of there. Through here, your drain plug right there. Right now I'm draining the coolant before I go all the way down and start working on the top.
But important. Once you take that drive shaft off, if you haven't drained the gearbox, you're gonna get a mess of fluid dripping out from where the drive shaft goes into the rear end of that gearbox. So make sure you drain the fluid out when you're starting this project, engine oil and transmission fluid. I'll put a little note at the beginning of the video to remind everybody. So once this coolant is drained out, then I'm going to bring it down and start unplugging stuff from the top. I want to get the intake manifold off, and the power steering pump I'm not going to completely disassemble. So I don't think I have to take the lines off, so I'm not going to drain the power steering. I'm just going to take the pump off the engine and lean it to the side. But yeah, we're going to move to the top now.